Also, maybe you might be trying different things with images and your listing copy and content, but maybe you lack either the manpower to get those changes made, or you just don't know best practices or have the knowledge base for what your product listings need on Amazon. Today's episode is for you. Welcome to the Natural Personal Care Podcast, your guide to personal care branding success. Every week, we'll unlock the secrets of eco-friendly marketing and share strategies that work. Are you ready to grow your brand on Amazon and beyond? Let's dive in. Have you ever wondered if your product listings on Amazon are actually set up to get more sales? I'm not only talking about helping your sales on Amazon's platform, but also off Amazon as well. Getting more possible buyers to learn and see your product, and in this case, I'm referring to online, is really important. If you could have your product go from selling, let's say 2 out of every 10 people that saw your product then buys it, to almost 4 out of every 10 people start buying your product, how would that help your brand and ultimately your mission of why you started your business? We have seen listings that are outdated or they need optimization, as you will commonly hear it called. And we've seen actually numbers go from 24.8% up to 34.1%. So when we added content that really helped convert buyers or browsers into buyers, that is kind of the data that we have seen happen in just one case. Now, if you've ever tried updating your listings, but you're taking on more of your bandwidth and time than a C-suite executive should be spending their energy on, also maybe you might be trying different things with images and your listing copy and content, but maybe you lack either the manpower to get those changes made, or you just don't know best practices or have the knowledge base for what your product listings need on Amazon, today's episode is for you. I will share with you how you can set up or optimize your product listings on Amazon so they are ready for ads and then they work harder for you and for your brand. By doing this step right, you will save money on wasted ad spend and your ads will ultimately be more effective, so you don't want to skip this step. Now, in the last episode, I shared about the foundational step. So make sure to listen to that episode if you haven't already, because once you have brand control over your listings, you will now want to make your listings have the biggest impact. So I'm going to share with you what you need to optimize and get ready for your product listings on Amazon so they can convert on Amazon. Now, the numbers for conversion rates on Amazon, I don't know if you know this, but they are pretty amazing. If you especially compare it with like Shopify conversion rates, on average for Amazon, the conversion rate is 11%. Now, the more niche and specific your product is, you can actually expect to get even better conversion rates. Even if you're seeing like a really solid conversion rate, you always want to make sure you have it ready when you're sending traffic to it with Amazon ads. Now, typically we like updating all of the listing product at once, but I'll break down for you what elements in your listing that you should be thinking about and updating. So you'll want to first think about your copy on your listing. So think title, bullet points, A+ content copy, product description. Little pro tip, even if you plan to have A+ content, this should still be filled in. Alt text within images, backend keywords, those are the primary places that you are putting words and copy into your listing, whether it be the front end or the back end. Now, those are the main places that you're going to be writing copy. It's really going to inform the consumer what they're getting, helping them to see what makes your brand or your product different than their other options, especially on Amazon because it's so competitive, and how this can help them if they do buy your product. Now, keyword research, that's going to actually be really key for your copy because while it should be written in your brand voice in a way that reflects your brand and also helps consumers, you also have to write it so that when people are looking to buy products on Amazon, your product actually shows up in searches, right? People can't know about what they don't see or know about. Initially, you should focus on really relevant keywords. That's what I would recommend, that are also getting monthly searches on Amazon. Now, for the purposes of this episode, I'm not going to go into a ton of detail on this as keyword research, copy, that those could be their own episodes, but you will want to make sure that all of your listing copy checks those boxes that I mentioned. So next, we're looking and thinking about images. So your image is set at the top of your listing, and make sure that you're keeping in mind those people that are shopping on their phones, and they might not actually even spend any time or very little time reading the bullet points and the copy that you've spent time creating. Now, there's a purpose behind that, so don't feel like it's a wasted effort. But the purposes of images are very different. Now, there's a lot of images and graphics that you can also use in A+ content. So hopefully you have access also to what's called premium A+ content as well, because that'll actually give you even more options for your visuals. And Amazon has given some really good supported data that they've seen a lift in sales using premium content by up to like 20%. So videos, that's next. In the image, you can also have videos that can show potential buyers how they can use your product. And this will help them see what will life look like and how will it be better with your product in their life. So if you have premium A+ content, you can also now add video inside this A+ content section, which is awesome. And if you have video content in this step, make sure to keep that in mind because you can use it in the next step that I'll share in another episode on driving ads to your listings. Product reviews, super important, right? Everyone knows that they're important. And it's really before someone even goes and they'll see your listing either organically, meaning without ads, or paid ads, you should have enough reviews to give possible customers a reason to even click into your listing. So this is where if you just don't have enough product reviews yet, you might be spending a lot more in Amazon ads without the results that you're trying to get. So you want to aim for, if you're looking for a brand new listing, a minimum of 25 new reviews. And I would like to see usually a 4.2 or higher. A 4 can be okay as well when you have less, but you really want to get it high up to really close to that 4.5 mark. This is the step also why we have it now before you start spending money on ads on Amazon or a lot of money on ads on Amazon. Because if you remember earlier, I mentioned optimizing your listing that can help you online or offline as well and off of Amazon. So I shared with you how it can help with your ads and right now with the listing, but offline, it will help you too. So think about it this way. When you have your products in retail stores, physical stores, and a potential buyer is considering your product, and I've actually done this myself as a consumer. I don't know if you can think back to when you've been in a store and you're like, okay, I need to find product X to fulfill this need, and you pick something up and you have no idea about the product. I've actually then pulled up my app and I've looked on my phone to see what are the reviews like on Amazon. If I'm doing that, and I know other people have done that, you have to remember that is what potential buyers, even off of Amazon, are doing. And sometimes even when they're looking at your website, there's a little bit of trust that really Amazon has over the years really built in for their customers and for people that are buying your product on Amazon. So I think they understand that there could be a little bit less of a bias on Amazon than there would be on your own website. So even when you have it on your Shopify site, for instance, they might jump over to Amazon and look at reviews there as well. So just keep that in mind. Next, we've got delivery. Are you using Fulfilled by Amazon already? If so, that's awesome. If not, you strongly will want to consider it, as typically when we're thinking about most natural personal care products, they usually can be sold FBA. There could be some limitations that you might have. For instance, if your product melts certain warmer months. So if you can't use FBA, make sure that you're using the fastest shipping option for FBM. Seller fulfilled, things like that. Really tight window. How can you tighten that delivery window to give buyers the best experience possible and wow them with your customer service? Because they're expecting that already when they buy from Amazon, which is why Amazon is so customer centric and people keep coming back to them. So you want to give them that similar experience, even if they're not buying at FBA or Fulfilled by Amazon. Now, you also will not want to run out of stock because that will make your listings also not ready for ads. So if you are using FBA, make sure you're staying in stock and keeping things at a healthy level and also expecting sales growth, especially as you think about adding more and you start really running ads on Amazon as well. So I shared with you 5 things your Amazon listings need before you even start promoting your listings. Now, this step is going to pay off dividends month over month. So think about it this way. If you're already converting at, let's say 15%, which is a very conservative and lower number, and then let's say after you optimize your listing, you start converting at 20%. And that's not just a one-time occurrence. That's a month over month impact for your brand and for your listings. That momentum is going to lead you perfectly into the next step that I'm going to cover on next week's episode, which is going to be driving Amazon ads for sales growth. So you'll not want to miss that episode. So I always like to kind of finish things up with your action item. So even if you're a CEO or CMO, there are things that you could be doing as you're kind of guiding the ship, if you will, for the company to think through what can you do now to have a bigger impact for your Amazon sales. So I want you to actually pull up one of your listings on Amazon. And then I want you to go through those 5 categories that I mentioned. And I want you to give each one a score from 1 to 10. 1 would be like the worst, 10 being like things are amazing and nothing needs to change. So for instance, think about your copy as a whole. Is it a 1? Is it a 10? Where does it lie in that scale? Give it a rating. Do the same thing then for your images, et cetera, for all those 5 different elements that I mentioned within your product listing. Now, if you have specific questions that you want addressed in future episodes, make sure to go to the link in the show notes and drop me a quick 2-minute email with that question or concern or anything that you want me to dig into in a future episode. And you can just send a quick email to contact@clickfluency.com. I'll do my best to address each question that comes through in future episodes. Have a great day. Talk to you next week. Thanks for listening to today's episode. I hope it brought you value you can use to grow your Amazon sales channel for your brand. What would really help me a ton, like you know how important product reviews are on Amazon? Would you take a quick minute and leave me a review on Apple Podcasts? Just scroll down until you see the write a review in purple, and then you can click the leave the rating and review there. That'll help me to know you're getting value from this and what future content you want to hear more of that would serve you best. Thank you so much.